Summer Solstice TLC Open Mic, June 20th. Join me and my internet friends, that's you, for an evening of sharing and self-expression. Okay? It'll be live from my driftwood fort on the sandy beach of the Cosmic Navel, aka the Earth Dome that I built in my backyard. Okay, this is real. Bring something to share from your heart. A poem, a song, interpretive scarf dancing. Okay, this is a safe space. Whatever it is, you'll have up to 5 minutes to express yourself on this groundless ground. And all you have to do is just click the link to sign up and we'll put you on the list. One other thing, we will be accepting pre-recorded submissions, but we're going to prioritize persons who show up in the flesh, in this fleshless flesh. Okay? I can't wait to be with you. By and by. Hello, my internet friends. Welcome to the Rigel Show. Another episode streaming to you live from my Earth Dome, also known as my mystical driftwood fort on the sandy beach of the Cosmic Navel, where song runs through all of reality, yeah. See, just embodying that right here, right now. This space is a playful Theotokian riparian zone that seeks to integrate traditional values, modern values, progressive postmodern values, and that which is arising on the horizon of the evolution of culture and consciousness. I call this postmodern values. Others may call it developmental philosophy, integral theory, spiral dynamics, meta-modernism, and I would even say the word metagelical is nipping at the heels of this new emergence. Okay? In this space, we prioritize relationship over being right. And to illustrate this, let's take a moment to notice and listen, okay, to the words of a contemporary luminary, one of our very own, okay? One of our very own, Luke Thompson. Take it away, Luke.
I really am trying to create a hospitable place for people to know and be known in which we talk about ideas. But as Nathan said in the last live stream that I jumped in, or as I said to him, this isn't mainly about ideas for me. It's mainly about persons. So the ideas are fine, but I'm not trying to create an information economy. I'm trying to create a relational economy. And the ideas are periphery.
A relational economy, folks. Speaking of relationality, I just dropped the StreamYard link into the chat. So if you feel like coming on cam with me, feel free to do that now or after I share a little music here. So today I am going to enter the Cosmic Navel by sharing song number 6, track 6 on my Consciousness album. And just a little refresher, this is a concept album, and the concept is that culture and consciousness evolve in predictable stages of development. But, before you run away, I know a lot of the problems with stage theories is it collapses and oversimplifies just the mystery of being a human being made in the image of God. And sometimes it turns into a system where one can freely judge everyone else and put them into kind of levels of value. And those systems have ended pretty horrifically. So I thought that I would try and illuminate some of the value in this particular system in a way that is more mushy through the lens of interpretive improvisational piano playing, animated blobs of color, and text overlay. So let's bring to the stage track number 6. And maybe I'll review what all these tracks are later. Let's just jump right into the music. Okay? So here we go. This is track 6, which maps to the color, the blob, green, which represents progressive postmodernism. Okay, so let's bring you to this stage here. Summer solstice. No, that's the wrong. Well, you know what? I need to share a different screen. Here we go. All right. This. So we ended on modernism, orange, and now we're starting on the next one. Here we go. See orange. Okay, that is the end of green progressive postmodernism. And maybe that's where we are right now in this moment. Okay. I actually, so the little, hey, Timothy, nice to see you. Thompson, good to see you out there. All good things must come to an end. That's right, my friend. Y'all are welcome to jump on here with me. I wanted to rewind and just talk a little bit about my blobs of color while folks click the link and join me on here. So I'm going to go back to these little, kind of this I want to show you all the colors in here. Okay, so we have this part where you see all the colors dancing, their little dance, right? Okay, and you'll notice that red is just kind of all over the place, very sporadic, jerky, not really fitting in with the vibe. And then you'll notice, okay, so it's jerking around. You'll notice that orange is just moving up and down, okay, very kind of linear. And blue is moving in this kind of circular motion, which I feel like the circular motion represents that feminine, the stability of tradition cycles. Okay. Righty, what else do I want to say about this? Let's see, I'm going to unshare my screen here, and I'm going to just review a little bit what those colors all mean again, because I didn't do that at the beginning. So again, this idea is that culture and consciousness evolve through these stages, and the purpose is to learn how to see the dignities and the disasters of each of these stages of development that form both on the individual level and the cultural kind of mimetic level, and to be able to tease those apart, because eventually we want to pull forward the dignities, the values of each of these, be able to recognize them in myself, in others, and also be able to recognize the disasters. That's very important. So the beige color, if you will, represents that survival stage. That's where, on the individual level, the baby doesn't really have a clear distinction between their personhood and their mother's personhood. They're just like, mama's milk, and then they get mama's milk and they're very happy. On the cultural level, you could barely even call this a cultural system. It's really just survival. A lot of people who study these stages don't really map this to culture yet. And then that gives rise to the next track of the song, which is purple. And purple is the mythic magic stage of development, which on the personal level, I associate this with the Santa Claus stage of development, doing things to please the naughty and nice economy of Santa Claus. On the cultural level, this is where the entire world is enchanted. It's filled with spirit, and to the point where even the rain clouds are filled with the spirit, and we need to create a system of sacrifice to make sure the rain comes. And so we create these sacrificial systems, and they start including maybe our firstborn. And that's possibly cool for a while until that firstborn is like your firstborn, literally. And then this gives rise to the next emergent value system called the red ego. This is track 3 of the song. This is where it starts to get jazzy. And the red says, hell no, you're not going to sacrifice my child. I'm out of here. And that's in the childhood stage of development. This is the no stage, which is very difficult to parent, I'll be frank with you. But if a kid doesn't go through the no stage, they're going to have some problems later in life. In the cultural system, this is kind of the red. This is the warrior stage. This is where, might is right. They might call this the street configuration in modern times. You don't really see this out in civilization very often, but it does exist out there on the fringes of society. And then that gives rise to the 4th track of the song, traditional. Just reminding you all, I'm going to share my link one more time just in case anyone wants to join me in here, because I'll talk for a little while, but I'm not going to talk forever, okay? So you've got this blue system. This is where civilization really takes off. This is where, this is the kind of conformist stage. This is where laws and order and right and wrong, black and white become very important. You see this in kids. I am very tuned in to when my child will fully grasp this stage of development. Oh God, he'll never watch this. Anyways, this is the conformist stage. This is where, in that red warrior stage, you had a lot of these kind of like godlike kings, where you really couldn't distinguish the difference between God and the king. And then, someone like Jesus comes along and is like, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's, something above Caesar. And when that goes viral in the culture, it just completely dominates and crushes the red system. So then that gives rise to the 5th track, which we listened to last week. That's the orange, the modern system. I think, therefore I am. This is where we get all of our technology, all of that glorious modern medicine, electricity, okay? Instant water heater that heated up my water so I could make green tea instead of coffee, because I've already had a pot of coffee and I don't need any more of that right now, okay? That's all the modernity. So we got modernity, we have the Enlightenment, we have the modern justice system actually emerges in this stage of cultural development. We're now able to care for people that aren't just in our religious community, but we're able to care for people who are outside of our ethnocentric tribe. And all people have rights to life, liberty, and happiness. But that also, leads to its own kind of disasters, which gives rise to this next stage, which is green, postmodern progressive. You have this greater awareness, greater sensitivity to the margins that have been overlooked by modernity's justice lens. Postmodern progressive sees the people who are being kind of pushed aside, and including the earth, okay? The earth has a voice. And, yeah, green is sensitive. It's very sensitive, very participatory, earth-centric, a lot of care, and it has this ability to fracture and disintegrate all hierarchies. That is its real superpower. And I'm going to bring Sherry on. Sherry!
Morning.
Morning. I was just trying to riff for a little bit. I'm so glad you showed up.
I'm like, oh, I gotta leave it. He's on a roll.
Oh man, no, I so glad you're here. You spared me from myself. Let me see if there was anything I wanted to tie up about green.
Yeah.
Green, we have that postmodern. Oh, it dissolves hierarchies to a point where it loses its own integrity and loses meaning, and that's when I on the piano I hit the sustain pedal and just started playing my little song, but with the sustain pedal it just starts to lose any sense of meaning. I mean, you could listen to that for a while, but it starts to just turn into a background wash noise. So
Yeah, when I watched the whole thing, I was able to be here from the beginning. Amazing. And
wonderful.
I just wrote, I always keep a little notepad, and I just wrote stasis. Trapped in your own rationality. Yeah. I'm reading a book by Pavel Florensky at the moment, and it's funny because it's really coinciding. Like, I've had this book for like 4 years and didn't want to read it because I thought, well, it's not that I didn't want to read it. I always get this, no, not yet. I reach for a book and it's like, nah, not that one. How about this one? And I just kind of follow that, And this one has been calling my name for a long time. And so finally I gave myself over to it. And it's talking about this stuff. Like, as you were talking, I was reading through some different passages that I read through yesterday, and yeah, I just thought there's so much coinciding happening here.
Feel free to share any passages that you ran across.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to just find a little piece, but
I know. Have to read like a whole page.
Yeah, he talks about so like here's an intro to his line of thinking. He says, "Thus I grope along, all the while remembering that my steps do not have any significance." He's the skeptic, okay? He's the skeptic here. At my own risk, on the off chance, I am attempting to grow something, being guided not by philosophical skepticism, but by my own feeling. And for a time, I will refrain from turning this feeling into ash with Pyrrhonian lava. Pyrrhus, was it Athanasius that responded to Pyrrhus, or was it? No, I think it was St. Maximus, actually. He was a atheist skeptic kind of guy.
Okay.
Back in the day. I cherish a secret hope for a miracle. Perhaps the flow of lava will move aside before my shoot, and the plant will turn out to be a burning bush. But this I keep to myself. And in keeping it to myself, I accept the word of the Katisma, which I have heard 1,000 times in church, but which has only now for some reason surfaced in my consciousness. Those who seek God shall not be deprived of any good. Yes, those who seek, those who thirst. The verse does not say those who have. And it would be superfluous to say this, for it goes without saying that those who have God, the original source of all good, will not be deprived of any particular good. And perhaps, and so anyway, he's just going back and forth in his mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, so then he comes to the conclusion that there's two judgments. The absolute truth exists, because this is called the pillar and ground of the truth, this book.
Hmm.
So the absolute truth exists, i.e., it is unconditional reality. The absolute truth is knowable, i.e., it is unconditional reasonableness. The absolute truth is given as a fact, i.e., it is a finite intuition, but it is absolutely proven, i.e., it has the structure of infinite discursion. So then he goes down here to say, thus, well, actually, wait, let me see here. This means that all our attention is concentrated on a proposition that is dual in content but one in idea. Truth is intuition, truth is discursion. It's both. But both of those things are opposite, okay, of each other. So then he goes down a little further and he says, thus, if the truth exists, it is real reasonableness and reasonable reality. It is finite infinity and infinite finitude. Or to use a mathematical expression, actual infinity. The infinite conceived as integral unity, as one subject complete in itself. But complete in itself, the truth carries in itself the whole fullness of the infinite series of its grounds, the depths of its perspective. The truth is a sun that illuminates both itself and the whole universe. Its abyss is the abyss of power, not of nothingness. The truth is immobile motion and moving immobility. It is the unity of opposites. Okay, so I'll just read that.
Well, I'm down with that unity of opposites. I couldn't help but, I mean, I've heard pillar and ground of truth like for years, just here and there. I've heard that book title, and I think it's probably used in other areas as well. But it made me think of the imagery of pillar and ground being opposites. Pillar being very masculine, and ground being
Feminine.
Feminine. The horizontal and the vertical kind of coming together.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think pillar and ground of truth is scripture, isn't it? This book is so dense that I've already forgotten where I got the title. But anyway, there's another one. I try to keep this. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to just ask you to connect what you just read to kind of what we're talking about with the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so the reason that part came to my mind was because in your postmodern section, there's this desire for unity that actually requires sameness. But integrity is a unity of opposites. Wholeness is a unity of opposites. So there can't be sameness, right?
Yeah.
Because that's actually not, what does he call it? Actual truth. Is that what he said? I can't remember. If truth exists, then it must be a unity of opposites. And that is not, this is why it's like in your animation, they want to push out all the things that aren't the same, right?
Yeah.
And you indicate that with different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that we point out the differences, like using the color to refer to someone in your animation, then that becomes even questionable, because now we're differentiating from each other. So now we've lost the sameness. So now we have to get that back by not indicating your difference, right? We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist, which is the problem I've had of late with modernity, because it doesn't, when you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with them because they aren't the same as you. You love their eyes. You love their nose. You love the way they think, the way they move. Not that they're not doing what you do. They're doing what they do. So it's those are the things that stand out to us. And so that's why that brought that to my mind, that section that I read, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, I think that feels very relevant to a conversation I haven't finished listening to over on Luke's channel about YouTube etiquette, kind of commenting in a way that is most productive in this new emergent social situation that's happening in the TLC. And it made me think of this might be anathema to the TLC to come up with like an ecology of practices for being part of the TLC. Like, how do you create structure in this kind of non-hierarchical space in a way that doesn't just fall into all the same traps of all the structures that tend towards just power and dominance. And one of the things that I think could be part of this ecology of practices is this like leaning into allowing for challenge and support to happen, and just holding those opposites together. I mean, holding opposites together is a nice one, but challenge and support combined feels very juicy in this space. And
so how would you see that manifesting itself?
well, I'm not totally sure, because the challenge aspect is, I see that a lot on other people's channels who are like really into debate, and they've, they dive in feet first. And I don't know what the support element looks like, other than, and maybe it's just happening organically, like people keep coming back, and it seems like there is a kind of a camaraderie that seems to be forming among people. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how people are when they meet in person with each other versus how they are in this online space. If there's a big gap in the way, their kind of personal integrity, or if it's just like a continuation of what's happening here, which would be really encouraging. I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing here.
I'm just reading Sam's. Sherry, you kind of challenged Rigel on his Roman Catholic unity pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what would support look like in that case?
Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I was just reading the comment. Well, let's get back to Sam's question.
Okay.
But I just wanted to, like, I need to know, just so that I have a better picture, what challenge looks like. So does challenge look like what Luke did on his video yesterday, where he challenged people to leave better comments?
I think of it more in terms of real time challenge, like disagreement, and be like,
Oh,
like I want to push back on you,
yeah,
or like,
yeah,
you know, maybe even steel manning. Maybe there is a lot of homogeneity within a group of 4 to 6 people that are sitting on the same screen together, and one person just takes on the perspective of the opposite just to add some. Afriel loves to say pushback. I don't know who Afriel is.
Gabriel. He's a fixture here.
Okay, see, man, I only follow a few people. I only have time for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple people. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a fully fleshed out picture of what it is that you're pointing at. But if I was to say anything about these things happening, like the community forming, I would say it looks very much like a child in the womb. And
in what way?
so, well, there are certain laws that dictate how this is going to, put itself together, right? We have all kinds of taboos, we have etiquette, we have we have all kinds of things that shape and constrain us in social settings, right? So those are going to come into play, and those are kind of the things. Let's say those are the DNA, the 4 prescribed ways that an organism is built, right? Um, and I tend towards an organic approach to community rather than a top-down structural hierarchical approach. Um,
Thank you, Ethan. Join
yeah,
us.
yeah. Join us, Ethan.
An
Because
organic versus a top-down structural approach.
yeah, like whenever anybody wants to make rules, I'm just like, this is why I've talked about the difference between, or that, let's say not the difference, but the benefits versus what's the opposite of benefits? I can't think of it right now. Detriment. The detriment.
Deficits or detriments, yeah.
So you've got taboo that exists in communities, right? Like if you think about primitive communities, taboos become superstitious often. And then you've got laws, right? And the laws are basically, let's say, used to discern how to proceed if somebody walked a very razor's edge of a taboo. But the taboo is the general mode of controlling behavior within a society, in my opinion, right? This is where we get the word cringe. We get cringe because people have broken taboo. That's what it is. And nobody wants to be cringeworthy, right? So they avoid breaking those taboos. And in doing so, you have some kind of consensus,
Yeah.
some kind of unified way of behaving in the world. And I think it works well because it's not punitive. Whereas the law is punitive, right? The law says if you steal your neighbor's wife, then this and that's going to happen to you. Or if you murder someone, then this and that's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that taboo is kind of the water we swim in. We don't even realize how far into like taboo that we're being controlled. We're being controlled by taboo most of the time.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. Ethan, so good to see you.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
More
How is there anything you have bubbling up in response to our conversation, the music process, or
Well,
just anything you want to like ready to change the subject?
I'm just jumping in, so feel free to continue, and I'll splice in as I catch more of it.
Okay.
I needed extra sleep today.
Did you
totally.
hear any of it? What we were talking about? Or
Well, I heard taboos,
yeah,
taboos controlling things.
behavior.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
went back to listen to the song, so
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's interesting is I feel like each person's sub flotilla, I don't know how we are defining these terms. Oh my gosh, wait a second. Chad, the girl dad, this is your debut, really, here on the channel.
Am I a debutante?
I think. Yeah.
Am I coming out?
Yes, you're coming out.
Splendiferous.
This is epic. This is like the most TLC royalty I feel like we've had
Oh my god.
on my
Shut
channel.
up.
Chad's gonna hate that so much. He's gonna run so
Yeah.
fast.
Me too.
I'm here to challenge and support. Okay. Oh God.
There you go.
I don't know. Was that intentional, Chad? Do you want to come back on here? Okay.
Everything is
I was just
intentional.
playing, but I couldn't bring myself back on.
Yeah, that's good. We're just learning how to play together.
I don't really like that. Don't say nice things like that. You could say
Okay.
nice, true things. But,
Nice, true things. I know. Well, here's the thing, Mick Mo, like every time I go on Mick Mo's channel, which I've just done a couple of times, he has to like call me out. I mean, every time I'm like gushing over him and he's got to like be like, Rigel, I'm about to kick you out. Like before I even start talking.
Well,
So this
we
is
could be
maybe
kind.
I have something to learn here. I feel like I'm being challenged by Mick Mo to just like be.
Can I say something about that?
Say
Because
something, Sherry.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
Oh wow. Okay, please. Yes. It's getting spicy in here.
Is
Getting
this too
spicy.
much to play while you talk? I'm sorry.
Well, I can hear it okay. I don't know how it's gonna come across.
That's fine for me. It's fine for me, Chad.
Okay,
Nice.
sure.
It's the right
If it
volume
starts to,
for both.
yeah.
Yeah. There's there's a very fine line of self-deprecation that you have to avoid, because that's also a form of narcissism, in my opinion. So there's something very humbling about accepting a gift.
Yes.
And when someone gives you a compliment, you have to learn how to accept the gift, and it's a dance, right? Like with yourself, because you're gonna accept it and like, thanks, of course, I know, the ego's gonna gobble it up, right? But that's not gonna feel good, and then you gotta dance with a little bit and figure out where that place of humility actually is, where when someone gives you something, you realize that you're not really worthy of anything. Like you don't really deserve, because all the dark corners, right? Maybe that little ray of sunshine that floated out there that somebody saw might feel even deceptive on your part. You might be like, that's not really me. If they only knew what was really going on in here, they wouldn't have said that, right? But in order to come to know yourself, you have to accept what they saw.
So what you're
wait,
saying
can I
is
press-
that comments in TLC are like feeding mogwais after midnight.
What are those?
Can I press pause for a second? Chad, I told you that I was okay with you playing guitar, but here's the thing. I'm going to have to come out in public. God, this is something that's known about me. I have a problem with background music. Like I just can't hear anything other than the music. So like everything Sherry just said, it hit my heart somewhere deep down. Like I've got it, but like
But you couldn't
it's
hear it.
it just completely went past my brain.
Well,
Just
it's
bypassed
recorded,
it.
Rigel. You can listen back.
I know. I could listen back.
Is that a musician thing? Like because you're into music, like the notes just because like I always have trouble. Like if I'm listening to music, I have to like think really, really hard in order to hear a bass line. I can't
Yeah.
like separate the stuff naturally.
I think it's. I mean, I'll let Chad answer for himself, but for me, it's a mixture of like this overpowering ear and like this ideology. I have been a background musician like my entire life, and I have a chip on my shoulder about it. And so, like, if someone's going to play music, I want to give them my entire attention and just like submit myself to that moment rather than have this like kind of smushy experience of both paying attention to what's being said and not really fully hearing the music. So Chad, I do want to actually, if you have something to play, brother, let's like make time for that. But Sherry, you're going to say something.
Well, I just was wondering because music is also a language. So when someone is playing something, they're expressing themselves through the language of music. So I was imagining when you said you were having difficulty following because you're literally trying to follow two conversations, Rigel.
Yeah, no, totally.
Two languages, the words and the music. And in order to understand Chad, you need to listen to the language that he's speaking. And so it would be like me talking and Chad talking in German at the same time.
Yeah. That actually,
like,
Sherry, I think that's the best summary of what's happening inside my brain when I'm listening to background music and somebody talk at the same time. God, I'm going to like clip this out and play it back for everybody who challenges me on this.
Yeah,
well,
so like
because you care. It's because you care.
Okay. Chad, go ahead.
on my end of it, like I'll be in like committee meetings, and I'll just press mute and just have the guitar with myself because it helps me kind of like I don't know connect, focus. I'm not even paying attention when I'm playing. It's a way to fiddle around, kind of like it's like one of those like those
Prayer rope.
stress balls or something.
Yeah, it's a fidget. There's actually like a technical term for it.
Yeah, but what's weird is like so it's only been the last few years where I reconnected with playing like that. Like there were like months and months and months. I wouldn't say a whole year, but almost probably where for several years where I didn't care at all about playing the guitar or anything like that. I just didn't pay attention to it. And then playing it was actually honestly it was probably Grim Grizz who kind of kicked up the who like reignited the creative spark and
Nice.
and because what I think what he was promoting was participation. Partly I don't think he even knew that he was doing it. But so like it's only after where you find out like oh people like can actually participate and then that becomes kind of like a thing that you encourage and so that doing the branding and stuff like that was what really pulled me back into really caring about playing again and then now being able to just like pick it up as a doodle tool, like a fidgety doodling tool. I like that. And I mean, it's always probably something like a very similar pattern I'm playing anyways. So probably something really rooted in David Gilmour and not as good, obviously, but rooted in this similar style. Like I have a real bluesy heart. I can't help it. I'm a
Man,
melancholy
brother,
bitch.
me too. Me too. That's probably why it was so hard for me to. I mean, I can overanalyze this, but your little blues lick that had some juice to it, my friend. And maybe we'll get to rock out together one day.
I would like to be able to eventually come back or come to a place where I can like have a studio in my own, my home here. That'd be kind of nice. The problem is if I ever enter, like, I've never actually had readily accessible. How does it feel to have someone else do the best version of your song on? It feels great. That's awesome. I think that's amazing. I love that. Like, that's truly awesome. But yeah, so if I had like a studio in the house here, like readily accessible, fully functioning abilities to record music with multi-tracks, I'd probably never live outside of it. Like that's a problem. Because I was telling Ethan the other day, like I don't really hobby well. Like I'm an obsessive compulsive, I think. Probably not technically, but I feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm trying to pay attention to my daughter while she
Oh.
sleeps.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, Gavin plays that song amazing. He played that song just kind of like a one-take thing, and oftentimes that's the kind of art I'm looking for. Real spontaneous, not a lot of ego put into it. You're just kind of, it's often aimed at serving others as a gift, and that's the best sometimes. Not to diminish highly polished and highly produced music, because I like that too a lot. I'm going to listen now. More than talk. I'm going to try to. Postmodernism. Okay. I lied.
Say something.
I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to be quiet. I have a question. What do
Say.
you think about this phrase, meta-naissance?
Whoa. What does the naissance mean?
So, like, Renaissance is a naissance, a rebirth. Nascence is like the birth. So, Renaissance is like rebirth, and I like meta-naissance because it's like it pulls from all these different things.
I love it. That
Sweet.
really resonates with, I feel like, what's happening in this moment of kind of upheaval. I see a lot of potential, like a Renaissance, meta-naissance type potential on the other end of it, for sure.
The other part about the meta-naissance idea is that it's multi-medium. So it's not just music, it's not just painting, it's not just video, it's not just prose, it's poetry, it's prose, it's conversation. It's all that kind of smashed together to make a very kind of like I don't think you could pull it. I don't think you can conduct it very well. It's only after the fact I think that you could actually conduct it personally.
Yeah, meta-naissance may have a, you may overtake metagelical, according to Grizz.
Yeah, metagelical is pretty cool. I like it.
It is. There's a lot of, everyone's trying to come up with the word that's defining what's happening right now, but that's the kind of the magic of it is it's not totally definable yet.
Somebody
so what
asked
is
me on the
metaphor? Sorry.
Oh, wait, sorry, Sherry, you go.
Somebody asked me on the Discord recently because we were talking about using I made a comment about using AI to initiate conversation or to give people things to think about. And I said, the thing that makes me shudder about it is that perhaps perhaps it's only deepening your own confirmation bias, right? Because the to me the imagination is largely used to compose questions, not to find answers, because it's the question that leads you to the place you've never been before, because you don't know something, right? So there's a place of not knowing. You formulate a question, and then you know, but if you don't have, and I mean, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but I think that this modern world that we live in, and like for the last, I don't know how many decades or centuries you want to include that in there, but I think that the imagination is completely atrophied. So I think it's really difficult for people to formulate good questions. I remember reading one time, a long time ago, that in the Hebrew shul, a rabbi told a student once that to be the best student in the shul, you had to be the person to ask a question that had never been asked before in Judaism. Judaism has thousands of years of dialogue, right? And question asking. And so it would push the kids into this realm of imagination. That's what it does. It because you have to think of a question that nobody's ever asked before. Yeah, so that's why I think that imagination is largely responsible for. And Einstein talks about this too, right? Like, in order for him to make any discoveries, he had to find the right question. And so when it comes to AI, if you don't ask the right question, that could be dicey. Why did I say all that? Something.
I don't know.
something
I've been kind of ruminating on your pushback on McMo's ethos of not complimenting the host. And I'm wondering if there is a possibility that there is something possibly healing and beneficial to actually creating, in your little sub-flotilla, an ecology of practice of not over-complimenting each other, particularly the host. I could see, I don't know, as soon as you get into this system of like offering sacrifices to the king, it can turn into, the system can be gamed, and I mean, I don't know what's, huh? Go ahead.
Everything can be gamed, though. Like,
it's true. Well, yeah.
Am I like? I'm just thinking, like, for everything there is a season, right? So sometimes you're going to say, "Sorry, I don't need that compliment," and sometimes you're going to have to accept it. Something like that. Like when you were talking about that, I was thinking of Ricky Gervais. Like this is a guy who deliberately pushes people away from himself. He doesn't want anyone to like him, and that's his shtick. That's his comedy, right? And so, in order to appreciate him, you have to not like him. You have to be disgusted by the things that he says and does, and that's your gift to him, because that's what he wants. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the compliments as long as you're willing to tell me the truth where I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my sponsor did tell me before, don't ruin the spirit of the giver. So, I mean, that's true. I think if it is wise to accept gifts that are honest. But yeah, yeah, it's kind of like when I watch these reaction videos. There's like a whole market for reacting to music on the internet, on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that the reactors are almost, it's as if they're almost like they're strippers. Like they're getting paid to care for the person they're dancing for, right? So like sometimes if there are something is trending in the reaction community, like they'll go watch the video and they'll act like they just really love the thing, and clearly it's just maybe seems like they don't, or like they can really care less. And I would like to see reaction videos where they're honest, where they're just like, that is just shit or something, like instead of like this, I'm gonna be your private dancer, and egotist, danced for your ego basically, and that's the flattery that I think.
Man, but that there's a little bit of that in me. I am a whore, I must confess. I put you on just like a wedding dress, and I run down the aisle. Anyone remember that one? You know, Chris, was that Chris C, I think? I can't remember. No, I'm getting the wrong person. I'll think of it. It was one of those songwriters who emerged during the emergent church movement. Does anyone have any thoughts on how a host responds to flattery is an archetypal prophilicity marker? I don't know if I totally understand. I get like the vibe of what he's saying.
Well, on Grimm's Discord, Grimm has a list of maybe it's roles. I don't know what the right words are. Different roles. So if somebody like has a channel, they're a ship captain. And if somebody like is interested in like conflict negotiation, they're a doctor. So I was trying to ask Grimm, I was curious if Grimm had like a list of archetypes for different ship captains. Because I thought maybe that's what he was pointing towards. Because that would be interesting if he's been like working on just like archetypes, practical applications of archetypes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have anything they want to share? Poem, song, Chad, the girl dad. We have
I can share
something
something
here.
quick with you that I've been playing with. So when I did the Metagelical song, I found that the Lord's Prayer fits at the end, which was a really nice surprise. And now when I actually go lay Carolyn down for a nap, like I'll rock her to sleep with that song, that portion of the song, the prayer, the Lord's Prayer, and that's kind of fun. So let's see.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's only because I can't remember the rest of the words to the rest of the song. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this. Wow, I'm singing way out of key. See, this
No,
is
brother.
not good. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, forgot the words. Again, whatever.
I
don't
love
really
it.
have. Yeah,
I love it.
it does work though.
Heck yeah.
I have
That's
it
awesome.
around here somewhere. I just don't have all the words. And
I
that's
feel
the
ya.
problem with writing songs for your internet friends is you never have to perform them again.
Oh
And
my
you
God.
thus
Yep.
you never have to remember what you wrote.
You're,
And I
you're
like
s-
that actually.
Yeah. Keeps you in the present.
Yeah. I could read you a poem if you want. You
Sure.
guys can, share your stuff.
Sure.
Just,
This is part of the ethos of this ship floating down.
see.
I really like the new poem you just posted, Chad, where Neil was reading.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Another one, another zero. There is that poem. There are other poems. Let's see. Excuse me. There's like a whole bunch of them. I don't even. Some of these, like, it's like the internet thing where you just write them and then forget that you ever even wrote them. The other day, Grim Grizz was playing something on his channel where he went back and played something that I said. And I don't even, like, remember saying any of that. It's really weird. Okay.
Go for it.
This says a plea for mercy. I have no idea what this says. I just wrote this. I don't even know when I wrote it. January 22nd, 2022. Okay. Within the spans of the expanding, all into the eaten and dying nothing, the nothing waiting to be born, reborn and born again. Spilling love over the brim, by an empty kiss, a trinity of denial, the trial that was no trial, the many stations, the plea from the left and the mocking ridicule from the right, quenched with vinegar, a spear in the side, the cry of the forsaken, Father! While the mother lay weeping, the declaration of it finished, a dive into the bottom, a temple tumbling, with all the claims from the ones that know, how could you? Oh yeah, with all the claims from the ones that know, how could you? Even the ones with eyes to see and ears to hear lived in a constant state of amnesia, like a flickering flame in the blackest night, the flickering from black to light. The flame only seems to die, with anxious delirium, a knowing it will die. We will be wrapped forever in a suffocating blanket of nothing and know it. Oh, the torment. Might we deserve nothing less? Aye, and still we forget this. This would not be without the kiss. Logic. Oh, how we worship your clever wisdom. The linear story, static with facts and truth. Good truth. Save beauty for last. Alas. But what do we deserve? How could we even begin to make a proper and appropriate approach? What of those who never knew? The ones whom he created but his hand never reached? Or how about those that slay the innocent? The ones that spit in the face of the infinite? But didn't he lay waste to countless children? Now either we've been misled, something's been withheld, or in the beginning it was the word and it was misspelled. Or our reading is absurd, probably the latter, and these words merely from the mouth of the hurt. Am I to have eyes to see and ears to hear? Am I even worthy? Is it by the brother's measure or the father's endeavor? Now I lay thee down to see, not in a book or clever things. And if I live but not awake, I pray you, Lord, for mercy's sake. Weird.
Love it. I had so many little sparkles in there. I wrote down save beauty for last. Something about that.
There's a lot of these things. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't remember writing that. How do
Share
you
your
not remember that something exists?
Yeah. Hey, your brain's just freeing up something. I have something I can share, but I want to give Ethan and Sherry a chance as well.
I found a fragment with the word postmodern in it when I searched on my phone.
Oh, great.
I think I wrote this after a date I went on. The title in here. This is it has today's date. Never mind. The title is Postmodern Romance. There's 4 paragraphs.
Ooh, perfect.
Underneath the Calatrava, guarded by men in balaclava, gnawing on baklava, ink-stained Orthodox iconographer. You were swirling through strings of strobe, strung out on Molly, stringent and ecstatic, next to a guy called Sid, a giant sloth, a mean kid blowing up toys in a sandbox, a legend moving on as a civilization lost its armies. This is postmodern romance, a nihilistic final chance. You say come through, but I can't find you.
Wow. That's great. Sherry, anything from you?
Yeah, I was just perusing. I'll just read this one. I haven't read it for a long time. Entanglement. Reaching across the tops, barely touching in places. In other places, entangled. Greening branches hide those who have given up, living and dying together, crisscrossing new shoots. Sorry, because I wrote it in a form, so I have this spiral in it. Living and dying together, crisscrossing new shoots wind up in spirals. Formation. Seeking the light, following the sun. Beneath, the road lay naked, littered with deadwood, stretched out, inviting, beckoning.
Oh, I love that. Wind up in spirals towards the sun. Oh, we got Sam about to join us.
Cool.
Gosh, y'all, this is big. Ethan, I just wanted to say I really appreciated you bringing your mom on
Oh yeah.
last. Like that was it struck me as deeply profound. I don't know how many moms have shown up in the TLC, but that is exactly the type of. I mean, you felt safe enough to bring your mother on here with you. I thought that was just like exactly what I'm trying to do here.
Well, yeah, it was nice. I mean, because my parents were here for like 11 days. I dropped them off at the airport last night along with my fiance Jane. So I'm alone this weekend, which is much needed after 11 days of parents in a small apartment.
Yep. I know that.
But she was really grateful to hear so much about Orthodoxy because it's a foreign world to her. Like she does not know a single Orthodox person. She knew nothing. And I think now she has kind of like a shape of what Orthodoxy is. And I mean, I assume she'll probably go check out an Orthodox church in Wisconsin with a friend of hers because they're kind of in between churches.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Hey, Sam. Man.
Hey, how's it going? I've been listening in since the
Great.
beginning.
So glad you joined in.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything bubbling up for you? We're in kind of the sharing portion, but if there's something that you want to just dive back into from the conversation, feel free.
No, I thought I would share something. Just simple. It's you were talking about postmodernism and even some thoughts about like when you give people compliments and like language and how that all plays into it. And I think this is just sort of a meditation on language that's very it's very self-indulgent, so just bear with me. Hopefully it relates. It's called vernacular. Language so spectacular missed the point of the vernacular to communicate basic human truths. You have my deepest sympathy, should honestly, quite simply be, brother, sister, we love you. Well meaning words wrought in unfeeling terms are fraught with dangerous delusions of care, when in reality, indifferent apathy might be the only mutuality we share. My proclivity for loquacity produced powerful opacity and obfuscated an already unclear thought. Non colloquial niceties, like parochial treatises, were almost always uttered just for naught.
That is so great.
I need a copy of that. That is just fantastic.
Yes.
That
Oh my
reminds me of the
gosh.
Jabberwocky a little bit. You know the Jabberwocky?
Yeah.
Oh, Mimsy were the Borogoves and the Momraths out Grabe. I loved it.
Oh, yeah, that's profound, Sam. That's good. Nice offering. I also just little plug while y'all are here. Are you all going to contribute something for the great and holy TLC open mic on June 20th?
I signed up. I'll be there.
Okay, Ethan signed up.
I
Hope you
signed up.
all.
Did it show up?
Yeah. You showed up. Sam, did you sign up yet?
I've not signed up yet. My thing's been a little bit in flux, but I likely could be there. I'll have to kind of confirm with them.
This is just like gentle peer pressure. So, it's only recorded for eternity on YouTube. But I'm just looking for some strong commitments because it's so far it's kind of a light showing. I may reach out to some of my some adjacent folk to the TLC. Cool.
Can I try singing something?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Sherry, please.
I don't know. I'm really bad at finding the first note when I'm a cappella. So
Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to go ahead and give you permission to start over. If you're like, that was the wrong thing, you can start over as many times as you want. We're just here as a safe little raft floating down the river of joy.
Another thing I wanted to say before I sing is that, this idea of accepting with gratitude compliments. As a performer, the worst performer would not accept the applause, would not accept the gift, the compliment, right? Like that would just not really go over very well. And so it's a pouring out of yourself, right, on stage. And that's actually where I had to learn to accept it. I didn't you're looking at someone who never wanted to look in the mirror, okay? Like literally didn't want to look in the mirror. So, when people would clap, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I was lost. And I thought, no, you can't just leave them hanging, right? This is a moment, right, of a coming together thing.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to make a total fool out of myself because this song makes me cry, so I'm going to try not to. Enter the wild with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you travel far from heather, crag, and river, may you, like the little fisher, set the stream alight with glitter. May you enter now as otter, without falter, into water. Look to the sky with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you journey on, past dying stars exploding, like the gilded one in flight. Leave your little gifts of light, and in the dead of night, my darling, find the gleaming eye of starling, like the little aviator. Sing your heart to all dark matter. Walk through the world with care, my love, and sing the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you stumble through mature sands eroding, let the fern unfurl your grieving. Let the heron still your breathing. Let the selkie swim you deeper. Oh, my little silver seeker, even as the hour grows bleaker, be the singer and the speaker, and in city and in forest, let the larks become your chorus. And when every hope is gone, let the raven call you home.
Oh, I got full body tingles
Pyro,
on that one.
pyro erection.
Pyro erection.
Pylo.
Pyro erection. Thank you. Oh, pylo. Pylo. Whoa.
I wish you guys could have heard what I was hearing on my side, because it was did you write that?
No.
I would love to hear what
No,
it's
no, I
supposed to
did not
sound
write
like,
that.
because what I was playing was really simple, just
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd love to hear that.
and then I was
Oh, you were playing that along with when I was singing it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's called The Lost Words Blessing, Chad,
Lost Words
and
Blessing.
it's by a group called the Spell Song, and it's on Spotify. Lost Words Blessing.
That was really nice. I enjoyed that.
Man. So many...
Speaking of things I enjoy, she's awake.
Oh,
Oh, she's like, "Where's my dad?"
dad duties. I'm still that line, save beauty for last, just is ringing through right now, Chad. I'm feeling like maybe that's part of the ritual of this little sub flotilla here.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I do have something I can share as well.
Okay, I gotta bounce.
All right, you bounce, Chad.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad you showed up here. This is fantastic.
I love what you're doing here. It's really
Yeah.
wonderful. I will be back. I don't know if I'll be back June 20th, but maybe.
Hey, if you can, I know you're in a very
So,
fragile, chaotic time of parenthood, so I get it.
Oh yeah, she's crying. Gotta go.
Oh,
Bye.
all right, see you later.
I'm gonna
Okay,
keep
so
listening in, but I have to
Okay.
keep working on my own.
Sounds
Later,
good,
Sam.
Sam. Good to
Thanks,
see you.
guys.
Sam, you got to send me a written
Oh.
copy
I'll just email
of
it
your
to you.
prompt.
How's that?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
I love it.
Thank you, Rigel. Always appreciate the
Yes.
host. I'm gonna lavish praise on you because you are so wonderful. And in this flotilla, we do that.
We do
that.
that.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wonderful.
thank you.
It's a joy. It's a treat. It's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Sam. We'll see you next time. All right. So this one is a poem from one of my faves. I've been reading this exact poem for years. It's Wendell Berry,
Oh,
Manifesto, The Mad Farmer Liberation Front. All familiar with this one? And the reason I picked it for today, for track 6 of consciousness, is because I think so. One of these kind of underlying ideas in this developmental particular stage theory is that there's this kind of dialectical movement between each stage of development, between kind of the express self to the sacrifice self, to the express self to the sacrifice self. And they're kind of like ping-ponging off of each other. So the cool colors in this particular format, purple, blue, and green, those are animated by sacrifice self. Kind of a tribalism, then traditionalism, and then this green system. Whereas the red and the orange are animated more by the express self. And so what's fascinating is how these sacrifice self colors, systems, stages, mimetic value systems kind of resonate with each other. And the traditional system and the progressive postmodern system, they're both kind of pushing against modernity. They're both, so they have this kind of common enemy of the modern world. And there's a few people that I've run across who kind of integrate these two value systems. One is Rod Dreher. He coined this term called crunchy conservative back in, I don't know, this was like mid-aughts. And then Wendell Berry. I think Wendell Berry integrates traditional and progressive postmodern. I think he would have been totally labeled a progressive when he wrote this, back in the 70s. But you listen to it now, it's like, I don't know. Sounds pretty traditional. So I'll let you all make up your own decisions. It's just one of my favorite poems. So I'm going to read this with a little bit of jazzy. Okay?
pizzazz. Cool.
A little pizzazz. All right, here we go. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made? Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die, and you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So friends, every day do something that won't compute. Love the Lord, love the world, work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. Prophecy, such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to the carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie easy in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest to your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection.
Ooh. And piloerection. Just had to rhyme it at the end there.
Yep.
Coach,
I know. No, I get like all throughout this poem. Every time I read it, I read this like multiple times a year for over, it's probably 20 years now. But it is kind of a manifesto that keeps me very
well, and it circles right
grounded.
back. It circles back, I feel like, Rigel, to what I was reading out of The Pillar and Ground of the Truth about the coincidence of opposites.
Oh, for sure. All
Right?
through it.
Yeah.
He's just smashing them together everywhere. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Right? The whole thing
Yeah.
is everything. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Loved it.
Oh, such a wonderful time, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me.
How much time do you have left?
This is a rare Friday. My family is out of town, out of country, out of continent,
Whoa.
on the other side of the world. So I have, I'm a little more freewheeling today.
Well, because I wanted to ask about track 6.
Yeah, talk to me.
Okay, what was it was very strange because having listened to the first 5, I mean, this one like broke the form completely, which I guess I should have expected because it is postmodernism. But it was also like I'm going to need to listen to these and not read the words. Because the words on this one, the words seemed the least charitable to the color.
Yeah, interesting. You're okay. Keep going.
Well, but then everything got fuzzy, and so then you had like the full form break. And I was just, and then I was thinking like, oh, what was happening in the music? Because like I don't speak the language of music, so I have to like really pay attention to try and like just even really just to hear it. But when there's words on a screen, like that blinds me in the way that hearing music blinds you, because like text is just that's like 3 languages at once to me.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting that you pick up on that. And you put that better than I could have. It's least charitable to the color. And I was I watched it through this morning before I came on with y'all. And I was like, I noticed that too, but I wouldn't have been able to put it into words. And I wonder if part of that is because this is the thing that I'm closest to right now, that I'm actively pushing off against and trying to integrate. And so I have a little bit of a snarky relationship with green. But the thing is like I'm so green, and yet like I can't. You're probably just picking up on the inner turmoil that.
Well, that's why I was curious to ask you how much
Yeah.
time you had, because I was like, I feel like there's a lot going on in Rigel with this right here, because I'm reading the text, but I also like any text you read, I'm almost like the author is here and present, and something is happening in the author with these words.
That is spot on. And yeah, I think you just captured that, Ethan.
Also, I don't know if it, but what occurred to me was that the number of words, the plethora of words, which is like, it's like a reflection of where we are too, right? Like, and I actually think that this is a movement. Well, it's of course it's consciousness evolving, right? But it evolves through language. And the postmodern era it really takes language to task, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the postmodern moderns are doing, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's because language is inherently hierarchical in the
Well,
way
it's not
it
just
works.
hierarchical, but it can't express fully what it is that you want to say. And like we talked about this once before about meaning. Meaning is carried across through metaphor. Like so, it's not carried across propositionally. It's carried across metaphorically, and so this is postmodernism to me. And I'm not a scholar of, like, it took me a long time to figure out what it is, but it's taking language to task because of the lack of meaning and the further and further abstraction that we feel from the truth, because that's really what postmodernism is doing. It's questioning truth, right?
Yeah.
Because language has abstracted us so far away from it that is it's a mirage. It's a mirage.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a thought. The reason I said language is hierarchical is because I think that to say anything, you have to make, I don't know, kind of distinctions between what is said first and what's said next, and you have to kind of like, maybe that's not where I'm going.
That's interesting
Yeah.
because I had picked out a section in this book to read about the Trinity, but not defending the Trinity. I love the way that his logic operates in this, because he points out that we discover ourselves in a Trinity, right? It's I, thou, and I don't know what you would call it. There's a third. There's always a third, right? And those things reflect themselves, or you could say it's a oneness, right? That reflects itself in itself. And it can only happen in three. Can only happen in three. You can add a fourth, but then the fourth doesn't necessarily contain any. It's part of the three, right? So, and the fourth, like I could read it because he does a way better job of explaining it than I am. But the fourth could also be the 27 billionth, right? It's the many. It's
Yeah.
the body. It's the body.
Yeah.
Okay?
It makes me think of like the relationship in the golden ratio, or the golden, where the two parts have the same relationship between the parts together and as a whole. And so there's this like fractal, this kind of fractal DNA to reality that kind of scales up and scales down.
Yeah, but
in all
the reason
directions.
the reason I mention it is because he makes the point of saying that there is no hierarchy within it, right? So this is the idea of consubstantiality. Like the thing is, there's nothing greater, but there is nothing without the three. So the one is three. And I think I saved. Just let me look here. I gotta go now. So, and I also wanted to ask you guys to pray for me, because my grandson and my daughter and my son-in-law are leaving tomorrow for Nova Scotia, which is on the other side of Canada.
Absolutely.
So he says here, the self-provenness and self-groundedness of the subject of the truth, I, is the relation to he through thou. Through thou, the subjective I becomes the objective he. And in the latter, I has its affirmation, its objectivity as I. He is I revealed. The truth contemplates itself through itself in itself. Okay, so then back down here, I'm not going to read that whole thing. What is real is not the same thing as the whole subject, and what is real is precisely the same thing as the whole subject. In view of the necessity of further discussion, we will call it hypostasis. And then he says, the truth is therefore one essence with three hypostases. Not three essences, but one. Not one hypostasis, but three. But despite all this, hypostasis and essence are one and the same. Expressing myself somewhat imprecisely, I will say, a hypostasis is an absolute person.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's one thing that contains three relationships.
Yeah, and none of those are hierarchical. Not, because the one is constituted of the three, right? So they're all equally important. That's why they're consubstantial. This is just completely help me understand this. So further down he says, but what constitutes a person if not essence? Is essence given except in a person? Nevertheless, all of the foregoing establishes that there is not one hypostasis, but three, although essence is concretely one. Therefore, numerically, there is one subject of the truth, not three. And anyway, I won't read anymore because it's very long and boring. But the whole point is that we are three. I am three. The I, the thou, the he, right? And he doesn't say this, but I'm to me, this is the image and likeness of God.
Yeah. I need to sit down with that text because I'm totally vibing on what you're putting out there.
I'm reading this, Rigel, and I'm thinking, Rigel needs to read. Have you got the book?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have that one. One little admin thing I see mostly is in the green room. Mostly one of my ethos ecology of practices is for people to have their camera on. So if you do want to come on, you'll need to turn your camera on. Then Kabbalah said something that made me remember what I was going to say. Postmodernism is a conceptual category, not a person nor institution that does or says anything.
I'm just going to take leave, Rigel.
All right. So good to see you, Sherry.
Yeah. Thank you so
Sending
much.
grace and peace to you and your family.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's going to be rough. Bye.
Yeah. All right. See you later. And I'm just going to respond to this real quick and we can kind of wrap it up. But I think something that is a little tricky with this whole theory is the way the word postmodern is used is not, and I'm getting to the edges of my own knowledge base and ability to express myself, but
oh, this is exciting! Can't wait for next week and the next track.
I know, next track, but it's that's why I use the word progressive postmodern. Is it more communicates this cultural value system rather than a specific category, like philosophical category. I mean, there's all these postmodern philosophers that I have not read, and I don't know how to comment on them. But this progressive postmodern ethos, value system, energy, if you will, there's something real about that in our culture. And I think it emerged in a healthy way in response to the pathologies of modernity. But then, quickly, in relation to the other kind of historical timelines of these worldviews of value systems, quickly found like the limits of itself, and is now making way for, I think, something new, which I would argue is happening in the TLC. Like, that's why the TLC is so exciting to me, because it's kind of naturally, I mean, the whole TLC, it's very non-hierarchical. You know, it has a lot of these qualities of this postmodern, progressive postmodern kind of worldview, and yet it attracts a lot of people who are traditional-ish, you know, and then we're all pretty dang modern on our devices and computers. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I'm
Ethan?
imagining Luke Thompson in his kitchen getting to this part and just going, yes, 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 yes.
I do that every time he opens his mouth. So yeah, I'm glad I received that. And Luke, you were here with us, like, outside of time. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a hierarchy built on play.
Yeah. Oh, dang it.
Because like Peterson, there was a conversation of, I think it was like Peterson, Vervaeke, even Jordan Hall was there for that one. And they were like talking, and they were like, if we could only have a hierarchy built on play. And I'm listening going, all right, y'all enjoy your conversations. Like, I'm going to go play some more.
Yeah. Oh, well, that is a tidy way to, I think, wrap this whole thing up. And man, so good to see you, Ethan.
You too, Rigel.
Glad you joined me. And I'm planning on doing track 7, the final track. Although the song doesn't end. That's the thing about this whole thing, is it just keeps going. So, Ethan, let your song ring out this weekend and this week, and I will see you at another time.
Peace.
All right, peace. Bye, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there with me and my internet friends. See you at a later date.